What's up, guys? Brian Fanzo here, founder of iSocial, fans, digital futurist, virtual keynote speaker, and well, live stream enthusiast. And my aha moment actually happened in 2014 in Barcelona when Meerkat came out. And since then, I've done over 3,500 live streams, and I've now focused on all virtual keynotes, as you can see here in my virtual home office. And for me, so much of the live streaming world has changed, yet so much of it has got easier, but the space has got a little bit more crowded. But I'm here to talk to you about why I'm all in with Restream.io, and I'm going to give you guys the 5 reasons, 5 reasons that Restream is my favorite tool for live streaming. But before we do that, let me snap out of this virtual world. No, that didn't work. Let's see if I can. There we go. For those that don't know, I actually had 5 cell phones that I actually purchased on 3 different carriers. So it's 5 cell phones, 3 carriers. And the reason was that is I wanted to be able to stream on all the different platforms. I was also launching live streaming with IBM, Dell, Samsung at CES, at South by Southwest. And I wanted to make sure I had the right connection. But I was also, I'm a big believer in being extremely strategic with what you're doing. And one of my pet peeves was just kind of blasting the same message everywhere and not understanding the different platforms. And I can tell you, with all of the different pieces that we've had, there's been lots of multi-streaming platforms. There's been lots of broadcasting tools that have been available over the years. And I think I've probably tried every single one of them. But the big piece for me was a lot of them did bits and pieces, but they didn't play well with others. And then there was some other factors that kind of factored in where I couldn't customize things for certain platforms. I couldn't tweak or adjust things even before or after. And let's face it, the platforms have adjusted as well. But for this, I really wanted to kind of focus in on the 5 things that really inspired me to go all in with Restream. And in full transparency, Restream is actually sponsored of my podcast, and we're live streaming my podcast using the Restream Studio and doing everything via Restream. So press the damn button. The podcast is actually powered by Restream.io, but I can tell you, I've had lots of brands come to me, and I don't really work with brands of tools that I'm not using. And for me, this was kind of like a no-brainer. And so I'm going to show you guys kind of how I'm using it, those 5 features that I love, and hopefully inspire you to think differently about live streaming and even understand the value of Restream.io. So one of the number one reason, the first reason that I love Restream.io is it actually is partnered and aligned with one of my favorite tools for managing streaming, changing cameras, and doing a lot of things you guys saw me do earlier, which is eCamm Live. So we're going to actually swap over here to Restream, as you guys can see. And now we're in Restream, we're in the platform itself. But what is super cool is that I'm doing all of this management using eCamm Live, which is a tool that I manage kind of, I have 5 different cameras, and I'll show you guys the cameras in a minute. But the idea that you can use other, virtual cameras within Restream is my number one favorite piece, because I think a lot of the multi-broadcasting tools, a lot of the tools that have been out there, really were limiting in that value, and they wouldn't even allow you to kind of collaborate across the two. So with that being said, the number one reason is that idea that I can use my other tools. The number 2 reason is that you can connect just about every platform that exists. So as you can see, I already have a lot of my connections made. I'm actually setting up for a live podcast recording here in a little bit. So I'm going to actually do the live podcast recording editing for this demo. So this is the dashboard here. But what I'm able to do is I have all of these different aspects connected, and now I can actually go in and adjust the titles and the descriptions for all of my of the channels that I have connected. So I can create this title as the title, and I can say, hey, update all. So now everyone has the same title for all of the broadcasts. But as I mentioned before, the part that I really like is, let's say, hey, I want to go into YouTube. Well, YouTube, I want that title, but inside the description, I want to create something different that is, just for the, for the YouTube community. Because, I have on my YouTube channel, which If you guys go to pressthedamnbutton.video, you guys can check that out. But you want to be able to add links and do a lot of the things that you would in your YouTube channel. So what I'm able to do is I'm actually able to copy in what I put into the YouTube broadcasts and now update it. And so when I go live onto YouTube, it'll include that in the description. You can also see here I have 3 different Facebook accounts connected. So I have my personal account, I have my company page, iSocialFans, and then I also have my personal page, my personal company page, I guess, my speaker page, Brian Fanzo speaker. So for this one, I might want different than for my family one, which is my personal one. I actually change the what I'm actually putting in that description. And then, of course, Periscope is much more like a tweet. So I'm going to use hashtags. So this one I said, aligning with nature, humanity, spirit with Jared and Gassi. So I want to make sure I use Jared's Twitter account on that. So I can set that up there. Watch the podcast live, use the hashtag, and then I can hit update. And so when I go live, it's still going to go live with one button to all of these platforms. But I was able to actually customize the description and everything for each destination, which I think is a game changer. So that's number 2, being able to customize all of your different titles and pieces as well. Number 3 is, well, they have everything under the sun. They, the platform themselves, came from the gaming community, which to me is part of the reason they're really disrupting the live streaming talking head space because they've already proved their value and their worth in probably the most demanding of all of the live streaming communities, which is with the gaming community. So you can connect your Facebook personal profile, Twitch, Periscope, LinkedIn. You can even do your Facebook groups. So if you want to do Facebook groups, you can connect to an actual Facebook group as well. Now it is dependent on which package you get, but that is something that is kind of nice that you're able to set up. If I want to go live into one of my groups, I can do that right here. It also shows up all of the different pages that I have access to. And of course, I can customize that. So really, the idea that it has all of these different options, sometimes, if I'm doing a podcast, I'm going to broadcast to a lot of different places. If I'm doing more of a Q&A, maybe I'm not going to broadcast to Twitch or to an additional Facebook page, or maybe I only want to do one of my Facebook pages, which is probably what I will do for today's broadcast. So I can do all of that right here inside of Restream, and I can honestly say I was paying for Restream just for this functionality. So I was a paying customer before I partnered with them on my podcast. But the partnership on the podcast and everything kind of came together with the next feature, which is the 4th of my 5 reasons, and that is their live studio. So what they have available for us now is a live studio. And so as you can see, this is the title graphic for my podcast. I can turn off that graphic so you guys can see. I'm right here. This is me recording this video live for you guys. But what is super cool about this is it's all native in your browser. So there are some other browser tools that are out there. You have the StreamYard and BeLive and Crowdcast and a lot of the other tools that are available. But what I really love about this is that it's bringing all that Restream functionality of broadcasting of 30 plus channels at once, but it's also allowing me to do it all within my browser. I don't have to have something installed on my computer, but if I do have something installed on my computer, I can leverage that. So you can actually see the virtual cameras that I have installed. So if I want to use Prezi Video, which is what I use to do my presentations, I can click on that, or I can even click over to eCamm, which of course is what you guys are seeing here. Well, that's just a little bit too craziness, so we don't want to do that. But I can switch into different my different cameras. I can do different views, depending on what we want to actually have in the screen. But so this is all within the browser, all within the Restream Studio itself. And I can add overlays. So some of these are ones that I've already added in here. I can even add backgrounds if you want to do kind of like a virtual background. Let's say I wanted to add, I didn't want to use a third-party tool, and I just wanted to add some graphics in there. You can actually see I have the Restream.io logo in here. But something that's new that's added, as what you guys will be able to see here, is you are now able to add up to 10, count it, 10 guests live in studio. So you don't need any other tools. You don't need Zoom. You don't need Skype. You don't need Google Meets, I can actually send this link. And so this is what I do with my podcast, is I actually send my guests, so Jared, who will be on the show in about an hour, I'm going to send him this link, and he just pops it into his browser, and he pops in right here in the feed. And what's really nice is he'll show up here as one of the in my list, and I can bring him in from the green room. I can send him back out, but I can also do overlays and such once I bring him in, right? So I can bring him into the broadcast. I can do the different screens between us, especially because, let's face it, I have if he has a book, I can do that over the different pieces of different aspects of the live stream. So right there we have it overlaid. And maybe I want to, drop my camera and go back into the full screen for the live broadcast. So I can do all of that in here. You can also change your view. So you can do the crop side by side, or you can do the more widescreen side by side. And of course, you can even update in the studio before you go live. You can actually update some of those settings I showed you before. You can upload your logos, which is in the top right corner. Your overlays, which you're seeing here, which is what I have on the screen. I actually like this overlay, and then I like being able to, add the camera behind it, so that makes it a little bit more fun. To me, this is such a an interesting piece that you're able to integrate, but up to 10 guests, right? Like, that's a game changer in my opinion. Like, there's not the idea. I don't have to use Zoom. I don't have to use other platforms, but I can bring everybody in one platform. I can pick and choose when I bring them on screen. I can have 2 people on screen and 8 people in the green room. Something, this is really neat, but that is an important factor that can bring everybody in. But the 5th reason and the final reason, and I'll give you a bonus, so stick around for a bonus. And the bonus reason that I love Restream, and the reason when they reached out to partner on the podcast, I was like, it's a no-brainer, is the fact that I can see all of the different chats that of the different broadcasts with the logo of the actual the channel that they're coming in from. So I can see if they're coming from LinkedIn or Facebook or YouTube or Twitch, which is an added bonus, because for me, one of the big things with live streaming is it's participatory content, right? We want to be able to talk with our community. So I can actually bring those chats directly on screen. I can also monitor the chats directly here in the browser. If I want to manage the chat on my actual computer, there's an actual an app that you can download to your computer as well, which is a nice handy feature. So you can do all of these things, right? You can do captions on the screen. So let's say if I want to drop my graphics off there, so let's drop that. Oh, that was background. Hold on. Let's drop my graphic, and then let's go to captions, and I can drop. Hey, I can drop a lower third. If I want to promote my guest, I have these things already preloaded. If I just want to put the name of my show, I can do that right here below. And so those are you can bring in the chat. You can add custom captions that you predetermine ahead of time. You can add graphics overlay, and of course, you can set up all of your different broadcasts. And so to me, these are all, it's such a really nice benefit of Restream. These are the pricing packages that Restream currently has available. I'm using the professional license, as you see right now. So I get some extra destinations, get to use the live studio. They do have, companies and other pieces. Great community, great tool. And as I said, one of the things that's really nice is it's been tested with those that are really pushing, live streaming to the limits with the likes of the gaming community. So the bonus, I gave you guys 5 different, things that I really like about Restream. And the bonus is the analytics that are built within the actual live stream Restream platform. So the analytics are in beta now. So what I really think is really cool about this is that you're able to see some analytics that most platforms aren't giving you, but it's also giving you your, kind of, let's say the high level, all of your broadcasts together, giving you, everything from, you can look down at each session, you can see your average duration, your average chats per broadcast, the average viewers. All these things I think are extremely valuable for when you're, kind of monitoring and deciding what you want to do. They also allow, one of the things that we always worry about is latency. They actually have what they have called a speed test, where I can actually select the server that I want to broadcast to, which I can make sure that I'm selecting the one that is, closest to me. I live here in Washington, D.C., so I can actually run a test of my system on what it would look like for broadcasting there. As you can see, I have a pretty pretty good upload speed to Washington. So whenever I do go live to record this podcast, I'll be doing so, to that local system. And so that's really those are the 5 reasons for me that this is, kind of a game changer when it comes to how we look at live streaming. I was the person with, literally, with 5 tripods. Let's be real. I got a bunch of tripods right now. Look at this. I got more stuff. I got my other GoPro over there. But for me, one of the things that it comes down to is that, the timing for live streaming right now is well, let's face it, we're all home with COVID. But even going a step further than that, one of the things we have to start thinking about is like, how do we connect with people in real time at the right time? And how do we use the right tools to make all of this happen, right? And so, as I said, I can do all of these different cool transitions. I can go side by side, so I can show, I can use eCamm to broadcast this actual feed directly in to the Restream Studio. If you're using OBS or Wirecast, you can do the same there using your virtual camera. So, just to recap real quick, you can use third-party tools like eCamm, which is what I use alongside of Restream. I also use Prezi Video to do that as well. Number 2, being able to customize all of those broadcast titles. I can change the descriptions. I can add hashtags for things that are going on Twitter, which is super nice being able to do that. Number 3 is just a massive wide range of different platforms that you can stream to and that you can leverage, which of course is never a bad thing. Number 4 is being able to customize and bring in all of these different aspects into your broadcasting feed. And of course, number 5 is that ability to bring in 10 people, up to 10 people in the browser, just sending them one simple link. They don't have to be logged into an account or anything on that side. They can just send them the link and they can pop right into the feed. I can tell you I've done it now probably 8 or 9 times with my podcast, and it's worked out gloriously. So to me, that is a massive, big benefit. And then, of course, the bonus, I talked a little bit about the analytics that are available there in Restream, as well as the ability to, let's just say, it's not only be able to monitor the analytics, but you can also select the server and monitor your speed so you don't have any latency issues once you go live. So with that being said, I hope you guys will check out Restream. Actually, in the comment section here on YouTube, I have my link for Restream. So if you go ahead and click on that link, we'll make sure you guys get taken care of. It'll also show support for my podcast and my YouTube channel here. Hopefully you guys will subscribe. Hopefully you guys will check out Restream. And I guess the last call to action here we'll switch back over to that screen share, is that I will check out the podcast. It is live streamed on all of the different broadcasting channels. Just go to your favorite podcasting app and say press the damn button, or give me a follow on whichever channel you like to watch live video on. Got some amazing guests. I'm trying to help inspire people based on people's stories of how they've pressed the button, what things pressed their buttons, and then ultimately how we can together change the world. So hopefully that was helpful for you guys. Hopefully this helped you guys see the power that is Restream, and the reason, when they reached out to me and said, "Hey, Brian, do you want to partner? Can we power your Press the Damn Button podcast?" I was like, the timing couldn't be any better, because I've had lots of tools throw themselves at me, and most of them weren't going to be able to fit into my mantra and my style, while also being able to be something that I leverage. But hey, I'm drinking my own champagne, eating my own dog food, whichever you want to call it, and I'm doing my entire podcast using the Restream Live Studio. And who knows, I might even have use that up to 10 guest feature later this month, as I have a big episode in the works. So with that being said, I hope you guys have a great day. Cheers. And like I said, all the links are down below.